Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. So yesterday I just took the GRE, which is the Graduate Record Examination. I believe that's what it stands for. It's basically the big test you have to take out of undergrad to get into graduate school if you want to go, kind of like the SAT for college, but it's like a lot more intense. So that's kind of been like all that's on my mind right now and all that's been on my mind for the past like 2 to 3 months. So because it's on the computer, I got my scores back yesterday right after I finished taking the exam because it just grades it right then and there. And so I already have my scores for the verbal and the math sections. And I did just well enough so that I don't have to take it again, thank God. I'm not going to be releasing my actual scores out onto the internet because that's my own information and that doesn't really matter enough. What does matter is that I did good enough for me, and so yeah. And I'm still waiting on my writing scores because that takes 10 to 15 days or so because someone does actually have to read through your essays and give you a score. But I'm not too worried about that. I feel like I did okay on that part. So because I don't plan on taking the GRE again, I figured I should make this video while it's all still fresh in my mind and while I still have all of my GRE prep stuff and kind of go through with you guys what I did to prep and prepare and study, and then that might help you guys if you are in the same position. And I still have all of my prep stuff because again, I just took it yesterday, but in a few weeks it may be long gone and out of my sight because I probably will never want to look at it again. But anyway, okay, let's see where to start. I began studying at the very beginning of summer, so right now it is July 27th, so I took the test on July 26th, and I started studying basically as soon as I got out of school in mid-May. So I gave myself a little bit over 2.5 months to study. And it's best to pace out your studying like that and not cram it all into a week or something like that because 1, you're going to burn yourself out if you do that, and 2, you're not really going to be remembering the stuff if you cram it all in, whereas if you space it out over a month or 2 or 3, then you're going to remember it a lot better and actually be able to use that on the exam. So the main way that I studied for the GRE was using the mainly online-based test prep software called Magoosh. It looks like this. This is their book, and I used this simultaneously while working on the online program. And I honestly really liked my experience with the Magoosh site. Basically, it is a subscription service. I paid, I believe, a little over $100 for it, but I did get like 20, 25, 30 or so % off. And Magoosh does several different types of tests. They do the GRE, the GMAT, the SAT, the ACT, the LSAT, MCAT, etc. Okay, so I just looked it up and their 1-month subscription is $129 and their 6-month one is $149. So I got the 6-month, but again, I only paid like $110, $111, something around there. And that seems like a lot of money, but well, the exam itself is $205, so spending another $100 on test prep wasn't that bad, and honestly the Magoosh was worth every penny. I won't be showing you my actual account and stuff on the site because again it has personal information and scores and stuff like that on it, but basically they have a ton of video lessons on there. So I watched every single video that they have, which was over like 35 hours of video, and then pretty much when I was done watching a video on a certain topic, so say geometry or something like that, I then went through the corresponding section in this book and, you know, kind of matched it up. A lot of it said the same kind of stuff, but it was good to hear in 2 different ways. And then I did the little practice quiz that they have at the end of every lesson online and the little practice quiz they have at the end of every lesson in the book. So here's just kind of what the book looks like. It's pretty standard. Tells you how to do things. I don't really know what to say about it. But what is nice is that it has practice quizzes at the end of every section, so you can go through, and I did every practice question that is in here. And then it goes through and has explanations on all of the practice questions, which is really good because if you get something wrong, what's important is you need to know why you got it wrong, and you have to learn from your mistakes. So it has all the explanations in there, and also on the site, all of their questions on there, they also have explanations in text and in video format. And they have the same kind of stuff for the verbal section and even the writing section. And then they have a full-length practice test at the end, which I took and did not do too hot on, but you know, that's okay. They also have a big list of different vocab words and stuff in the back, which I found very useful, and I think a few of these were actually on my exams. So yeah, be sure to look through this. They also have an app which I found really useful, so I'll show you guys that along with the other GRE apps that I have. So right here are all of my GRE study apps, and this is the one that connects to your online account. They also have all of these really nice like blog posts and other video lessons, and they have, you know, study for the GRE in 1 month and all of these really nice study schedules and like just a ton of really helpful things. And then you can go to study here and they have a ton of practice questions. They have 639 practice math questions and 554 practice verbal questions. And then you can see I have my video lessons here. They have over 27 hours of math videos, 7.5 hours of verbal, and over 1 hour of writing videos. So I watched pretty much all of those. It says I missed 3% of the math videos, but okay. So you can tell they have all these different kinds up here, percents and ratios, integer properties, and it tells you how long all of those videos take. You can go and watch all of these videos either on your app or on your laptop or wherever. I also really liked their GRE vocabulary flashcards app. Basically this has a bunch of decks of flashcards and you go through them like this, and first they start out that you're learning them and they're read, but as you start to say, so basically, here, I'll just show you what you do. You get a word like this, you tap to see the meaning, and you either say if you knew the word or if you didn't know the word. So let's say that I didn't know this word, then it would go back to learning and be read, and it would keep testing you on things like this. You keep saying I knew it, and it's like, oh, you know, do I remember what that means? And then you say, okay, now I know that word, and it's gonna move to reviewing. And it's gonna keep going through like that and keep asking you the ones that you don't know to make sure that you actually learn them. So this app is really nice and it has a ton of decks. You can see I never really got to the advanced ones, but there are a lot. Okay, so basically I told you guys that I went through and watched all the videos and stuff, but you know, what's really the point of just sitting and watching videos? You gotta do something with it. So what I did for all of the video lessons was took notes in my handy dandy notebook here. Basically, it's like you would take notes in any class. You know, you write down examples, and then I did a quiz at the end of every lesson. So all of these pages here, which is most of the notebook, was all on math. And then I did a few things on verbal and some vocab and a little bit on writing and what to look for and how to organize your essay and stuff like that. But the vast majority of my notes and the vast majority of things I spent time on, I would say, especially the many hours of video lessons, was the math. But besides the math, I also spent a lot of time learning vocab words. I do think that the most helpful thing I had for learning the vocab was that app that I just showed you, also by Magoosh. And I don't believe you need a subscription or anything to Magoosh for that app. I think anyone can use it. But I also ordered these flashcards from Manhattan Prep. It looks like this, and this is the 500 essential words one. I believe they also have 500 advanced words and some other things like that. So basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is 500 note cards of GRE vocab words. And first what I did was just, I went through all of them and looked at all of them once, and then I went through them a second time and separated out what I knew and what I didn't know, and then I just kind of kept doing that, and I kept making the piles a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter, separating out what I knew and didn't know. I also took ones that had similar meanings and put them with each other, and that just really helped to kind of organize them in my head instead of having them just all over the place and getting overwhelmed with the sheer amount of note cards. It also comes with a little ring, which just fell on my floor over there. I'll get that later. And all of the note cards have a little hole on the top of them. Oh, it's actually not on the top, it's on the bottom. Yeah. They have a little hole there so you can put a ring through them. I basically took a ring with me to work and stuff like that, so when I had a little bit of downtime, I would be sitting there studying these vocab words. And that's really important, is just to take little study materials, either little flashcards like that or some of the flashcards that you make, and have them with you so that when you have a little bit of downtime somewhere, if it's at work or if you're waiting at the doctor's office or something like that, you have them with you and you can go and learn just a few more words. So yeah, that's about everything that I used. As a broad overview, again, I told you guys I gave myself a little over 2.5 months to study, and I set out a whole study plan and stuff for myself at the beginning, and I didn't stay on track of it that much because honestly some of the video lessons and stuff on the Magoosh site took me a lot longer to get through than I ever thought that they would, especially because I'm taking notes and I'm pausing and working through the problems and all of that. So I did get a little bit off track, but that was okay because I left myself several weeks at the end to just practice. So I had more than enough time to study. I think I was completely done with the videos when I still had about 3 more weeks or so until the exam. So I was totally done learning material, I feel like, and then those 3 weeks were mainly going through vocab cards and just practicing. So what's really nice about the Magoosh site is that they have so many practice questions. And you can also go on there and have a customized practice. So say you want to go on and only practice ratios and percents or something like that, then you can go on there and just check that box and just practice those questions over and over. So be sure to focus in and practice what you're struggling on so that you can get better at it. And speaking of practice, I did take 4 practice exams, like full-length practice exams, which is a lot because it's about a 4.5 hour long test. But for the whole month before my exam, I took 1 practice exam every single weekend. And the practice exams that I took were 1 with Magoosh, and then I took 2 with the actual ETS site, which is the people who make the GRE. They will give you 2 free practice tests, so I would definitely take advantage of that because the layout and the format of it is exactly like the real exam, so you know what to expect and what to look for. And also for me, those exams from the ETS website were the closest to my actual score than any of the other practice things I did. Also, I feel like maybe this whole video sounded like an ad for Magoosh, but I promise it's not. Hashtag not sponsored. No one would ever sponsor me anyway. But I did really like their site, so if you're looking into using them, I hope that maybe this video helped and you kind of got an idea of what it's like. I also want to talk a little bit about timing real quick, and not so much about timing of your studying, but more so timing of the actual exam. So very first thing on the exam is 2 essay questions. One is an issue task and one is an argument task, and you have 30 minutes for each. And how I studied for that was basically just practiced on my own, and I also practiced with my family a little bit. I would ask them some of the prompts and we would kind of go through it together and kind of outline what we would say. And I wrote a few practice essays giving myself only that 30 minutes. But I will say on the exam, that 30 minutes went by very quickly. I think I was so hung up on writing everything so eloquently and all of that, that by the end I realized, oh crap, I have like another paragraph and the conclusion to write and I have like a few minutes, I don't know. Definitely practice that and make sure to space out your time and not spend too much trying to figure out the perfect way to say a sentence. Just keep writing and make sure to give yourself some time at the end to read through it. I will say neither of my essays did I get time to read through them. I finished writing the last sentence within, I think, the last 10 seconds that it was giving me. The timer was counting down and I was like just furiously typing. So I'm sure that there are some typos and stuff in there and maybe some things that don't quite make sense because I wasn't able to read through it. So again, I would practice that and keep that in mind. 30 minutes seems like a lot to write just, you know, a simple essay, right? But to read through the prompt and plan out your essay and then actually write it and do the introduction and like 3 body paragraphs and conclusion, 30 minutes goes by quickly. And that kind of goes for the verbal and the math sections as well. You usually have about 30 or 35 minutes depending if it's math or verbal. So you don't have very much time per question. You have 20 questions, and so that goes by really quickly too, especially if you're, you know, doing a reading passage and you're really trying to focus on the details and read through it and make sure you get everything and make sure you get that question right. But if you spend 5 minutes on a question, like, you're not gonna have time to read any of the other questions. So again, just practice, make sure you get that timing, make sure you know how much time you have and about how much time you spend on each question. And again, Magoosh is really good for that because they will tell you the average time that people spend on that particular question, and then they'll tell you the time that you spent on that actual question, and it'll tell you if it's more or less and if you need to be working faster or if you're fine. Alright, so I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're taking the GRE soon, then good luck to you. Alright, subscribe if you want to stick around and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!